Now we don our elegant attire, and ready our quick-witted minds, for we are entering the courts of Guran, with Torin, as he has just now come in contact with the great king of Guran, Eldanas Bar Guran. The king was 10 feet in height, and that was only while sitting on the great golden throne. He had long black hair and a thick black beard, a golden breastplate adorning his chest, a large golden breastplate adorning his chest, and a crown upon his head. The king spoke to Torin. So you are Torin, son of Arasi, son of the fear. Torin looked up at the king and bowed low. In Garan, the king bows to no one. Torin looked up and raised his head. Sorry, my liege. In Garan, the king apologizes little. Torin then looked at the king. Show me your metal, boy. Torin straightened, looked up at the king, and said, I am Torin of Arasi, first prince of Arasi. I have come as a part of a delegation to your country. You will treat me with respect. You desire respect, boy. Well then, with such a tone you will have it. The king then called out to the crowd. Amali, I think you'll like this one. Stepping out of the crowd was a young, dark-skinned, beautiful woman. Long, flowing dark hair, an elegant purple dress, with golden filigree and a long golden necklace. She had blue eyes. Yes, I think I will. Torn looked up at her, awestruck. She was the most beautiful woman he had ever seen. He nodded to her. My lady, my name is Torin of Arasi. It is a pleasure to meet you. She bowed her head as well. Indeed, it is a pleasure for me as well. Torin looked up at the king. So great liege, so great king. What do you wish of me? Already they're here to please. Very well. My advisor will take you to your chambers. There, you will ready yourself for a day at the court. After that day at the court, we will have a grand feast for your arrival. After your day at the court, we will have a grand feast celebrating your arrival. Torin nodded his head. Of course, liege. The king's advisor then stepped aside and said, Ah, Kaluk, I will be taking you to your chambers. Please follow me. Kaluk and Torin made their ways to his chambers. They were large chambers filled with gold, golds, greens, and blues. Even hints of purple. It was a far greater room than Torin had ever had before. The room he had in Rossi was relatively large, but it was sparse and uncomfortable. The furniture was hard and a tool for a lesson that he did not wish to have again. So he was glad to be treated with this soft and plush. So he was glad to be treated with this soft and plush furniture. Well, this is a far grander place than I'm used to. The advisor looked up. You, my lord? Are you not a prince from your country? My country is a matriarchy. Princes are not valued very highly. In fact, my uncle was killed at birth. I was lucky enough to have a mother that was a kinder fear than others. Torin dressed himself, adorning a white tunic, a golden cape, and a white sash. Taruk then walked up to him. Sir. Yes? It is for your debut in court. It is often used that you wear a wig. What kind of wig? Well, he's kind, my lord. He then offered Torin a a white wig filled with curls, often what judges would use in older days. I see. Well, if that is your custom, then I will follow it. He then followed Taruk to court with his attire. Making his way in, he spent some time to start mingling with them. He met several lords. One noble in particular caught Torn's eye. One Thrax Braun. This noble caught Torn's eye specifically because he wasn't from Garon. He was actually from Hearth, the kingdom of vampires, which is incredibly rare because most people that go into Hearth never come out. So people tend to generally keep away from it. But he is not only from there, but left there. He was able to leave and become a noble of another country. It's it was quite interesting to Torin. Torin and him had a long conversation about Hearth. Tell me, what is Hearth like? Well, it's dark all the time. There are not a lot of people, and everything is built big. I see. It's not. There's not much to talk about it. Why does everybody disappear when they go there? I would rather not disappear. So, use your imagination. Oh, okay. Torin then spent the rest of his evening and the rest of his afternoon talking to other nobles. Many nobles of Garon, many actual visiting nobles. And there was another visiting noble from Lancer, the kingdom that used to own Garon before the revolution. Ah, you're a noble of Lancer, sir. Hmm, yes. Though Lancer's nobility is lacking as of late. What do you mean? Oh, it's nothing important. Nothing important. In any case, welcome to Garon. I am the ambassador of Lancer. I suppose until such time when you're Garon's king, you are the ambassador of Arasi. I suppose that would be true. Well, in that case, welcome to Garon, young prince. Thank you, sir. He mingled with more. He mingled with more nobles until the end of the day, when a grand feast was to be thrown. As he was preparing for the feast, he removed his fancy wig, kept on the fancy clothes, as was as there was to be a ball, and he kept on the elegant clothing as there was to be a ball, and he wanted to look his best for that beautiful princess. He got ready, washed himself up, and made his way to the ballroom. Now we find ourselves in a grand ballroom. Torn has just made his entrance, and he sees hundreds of nobles and even small town lords. And he sees the king of Garon, clapping his hand to the music on his throne, humming to himself. As he sees that, he looks around for the king's daughter, Amali, and he sees her. She looks at him and she waves him over. He comes over and is like, Lady Amali, it is good to see you. Ah, Torin. Yes. It is a pleasure to see you as well. Tell me. Tell me. How did your day at court fare? Ah, Lady Amali, I'm sure you already know. You were probably in the room watching the whole time. We've only just met and you've got a good idea of who I am. Excellent. He spent the evening mingling and drinking and having a good time. Finally, making his way towards the king, he addressed the king. My liege, tell me, of my arrival, I would like to know what terms were that you struck with my mother. Oh, I see. I would like to know what the deal was you struck with my mother to bring me here. I see. You want to become king of Garon. Unlike you want to become king of Garon. Unlike in some other countries, the king and queen of Garon rule equally. So therefore, they have to. So the king and queen rule equally with equal power. I've seen what one lord, what one king can do. I've seen it in myself after my wife died. We have too much power. So, therefore, you will rule equally alongside my daughter. Speaking of which, your daughter, she doesn't have ogre blood, does she? No, my daughter is adopted. I don't know if you know this, but most half-ogres are infertile. My wife, so my wife and I decided to adopt. So you just adopted someone off the street to become... Did you just adopt someone off the street to become your daughter? To become princess? To become queen? Hmm. We went to an orphanage, disguised as regular people. We looked. We saw a little girl. Hungry. We knew that that was our child right then. We could feel it in our bones. We could feel it in our sources. In any case, you are... In any case, you are here to be king alongside me, and my daughter shall be queen. You will rule equally, and you will rule well, I am sure. Now, please, enough talking to this old hag. Go and enjoy yourselves. So Torin made his way throughout the party, talking to several nobles, but he couldn't shake the feeling that he was being watched. And not like the feeling of, everybody's eyes are on him at the party. It was something foreign. He made his way out onto the balcony and looked out over what was going to be his kingdom. And he saw something out there in the distance. He squinted, and he could barely see a figure standing there on a rooftop. Tall, wielding some kind of staff. He had long black hair. And it was blowing in the night wind. He looked at Torin, pointed at him, and disappeared. Torin was shocked. What on earth was that? And that is where we will end things for this episode. I hope to see you again, and have a lovely day.